some people just can't handle things going really good for them. Some people don't know how to act when things are going good for them. Some people act stupid when they get a little bit of consistent money in their pocket. And that creates even more problems than they had when they didn't have no money. Some people can't handle growing and evolving and being more. Some people don't think they deserve better, right? And they stay in the gutter or the ditch or the perpetual bad decision behavior. You know? Some people don't know how to have anything in life. Just saying, y'all. I'm just saying, man. Okay, good morning, good morning. It's me and Zach today. We are, we got about 5 or 6 on, no, 7 on the list. Not a lot, but Zach don't have a phone, so that's going to be a problem for him this week. I mean, he's going to have to get a phone. I mean, it just seems like, you know, when the guys come out here, it's something all the time, man. You know, and it goes right back to everything we talk about, the whole cornerstone of being in business. You know, how you manage your money in the off time. I mean, it's like so profound, man. It's like every week there's something. Every week. Last week it was didn't have a ride. The week before that it was about the same thing. This week you don't have a phone. You know, 2 weeks ago the phone got turned off. The guys that come out here, and I ain't talking about just that, the guys that come out here, is always something. It's just, I don't know, dude. And it's always just irritating stuff, man. You know. But Zach's going to lose money if he don't have a phone, because he's not going to be able to work. I'm going to let him work today, but he don't have a phone, then he's not going to be able to work at the end of the day. So we need to do as much work as possible today, because there's a good chance Zach won't be out here tomorrow. You know. That's just the nature of it, man. I hate it that it's like that. It ain't, you know, I didn't make it like that. That's just how it is. You know, you would think that the guys that come out here would be able to manage to keep a phone. I mean, it's the craziest thing I ever seen, dude. It's always something, man. Always. But I had a good time. That's what they always say. But I had a good time. Okay. Good deal. So, what it usually happens, it comes down to they don't have enough money to get another phone. Not because they're not making good money. Not because I don't pay them good. But because they ain't managing their money like they're supposed to, taking care of their business when they off work. It's always like pulling teeth to get a guy to get another phone, because they ain't never got the money for it. And so now they got to borrow money, and then they fall in it. And so by borrowing money to buy something that, you know, that you got to have, it just seems, you know, backwards, because then when you get your check, you're short, you know, a big chunk of money, and then it takes weeks to overcome that. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, man. I don't even know And then, you know, some people will say, well, Ray, man, people mess up their phone. They lose their phone. They jump in the pool with their phone or whatever. I get it. I get it. I understand. Things happen. I mean, but when things happen, if you're not prepared for things or somewhat prepared, you know, if the phone thing was your only problem, then okay, not a big deal. If that was the only hiccup in the road, not a big deal. But it's a plethora of things all the time. All the time. It's just, you know, and it all goes back to how you spend your off time. It does. I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record player, but the behavior that guys have when they come out here is a broken record player as well. It's the same thing over and over and over again. I'd be so sick and tired of living like that. I'd be very sick and tired. So, I hope the police don't pull me over. More money, more problems. Because, you know, if the guys didn't have any money in their pocket, then they wouldn't lose their phone because they wouldn't be nowhere. See, they wouldn't be going out to all these places and parties and whatever, you know. So more money, more problems. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You would think that sometimes, you know, that these folks would get a grasp on what's going on, kind of, you know, look in the mirror just a little bit. But they don't. They just single out one individual thing. Well, man, it's just this, you know, people lose their phone and mess their phone up and break their phone. Okay, yeah, it's not a big deal. As long as you can pay to fix it, as long as you can get another one, as long as you didn't have, you know, a plethora of other issues that is not getting better either. It's just a shame, you know. I've had guys come out here and work all freaking summer and be worse off at the end of the summer than it was when they came in April. And been done made $15,000 or $20,000 and are worse off. Shit's crazy, man. There's gonna always be issues though when you don't handle your business. You know. And for the guys that come out here, it's always like that. It can't just be smooth sailing, you know. It can't be. That would be. I would be in shock and disbelief if it was smooth sailing. It never is smooth sailing. He gets out of the truck, gets on the mower, ain't got no glasses on or nothing. Guys, these guys that come out here, man, they're just not prepared. You know, they don't prepare themselves. They just come out here and body. Their brain is not usually ready to go. So, you know, it just seems to always be an issue of some sort. But, you know, if you're a business owner like me, right, you got to look at things a little bit different because, well, everybody can't be like me or like you, right, if you're a business owner. If there were, then we wouldn't have nobody to work for us. So, you know, but the frustration level is extremely frustrating. Extremely. It's just, you know, it just seems to always be something, man. So I told her that I would take the limb down for $500, and I'd take the whole tree out for $1,500, right? So it basically cost her $1,000, and the tree is, you know, well, it's a pretty big tree, but how I can come up with doing all of it for the 1,500 is, well, it's 3 miles from my house. I'll bring the skid steer over here with a big chain, with the big chainsaw, just cut that sucker off, and I could drag the whole tree to the woods in one whop. You know, maybe 2 whops. Okay. So, yeah. But I'll get a little footage of the tree today. But she, you know, she texted me back and says, I'll have to get back with you on the tree. I'm like, okay. You know, but the limb is, I mean, it may fall down on its own, you know, but it's pretty big. You're gonna have to have more than Peepaw's chainsaw to cut it up. She was wanting to trim that tree, and that just tells you how much people really know about trees. I don't know, now I might be wrong, but I don't know of anybody that's gonna want to trim that tree up and spend the money to trim that tree. When you got beautiful oak trees all around, that tree is nothing. I mean, it's a nuisance. So, you know, but they're kind of, you know, her mom and dad come over here and they got, you know, muscadines over here, which is a haven for freaking rats and snakes. And so her mom is real OCD about everything, even though her mom's using this place like her own little, you know, haven away from the city or whatever. She don't want to trim nothing. So, yeah. All right, y'all, I got to get to it. You're going to have issues with this tree. I mean, look at dude. And that's just my opinion and you know, what limited knowledge I have about arborist TT type stuff, you know. To me, this is a nuisance tree at this point. It is. Can't get no grass here. It's impeding the progress of other trees. Now, I think that tree over there's a maple. And it's certainly all up in the crepe myrtle here. So, and man, I tell you what, for $1,500 to remove this tree, that's quite a job. You know, I wouldn't even attempt to do that without the skid steer. I could bring the skid steer over here and I bet you I could remove this tree in one morning, you know, 4 hours or so. Because all I gotta do is take it to the woods, you know. And hell, it would be minimal chainsaw work, minimal. I would have Zach with the pole saw, just reach up and, you know, cut a little bit off, you know, just cut into each trunk at each one. And I grab it and then I would go take it to the woods, come back and do the same thing over and over again. You wouldn't have to climb up in the tree or none of that shit, you know. Now I wouldn't cut it off at the ground off the muscle because there's so much weight up top, but I will come in here and I will put with the grapple bucket, I will grab these big limbs and pull down on them. They'll break off, real brittle. So you guys tell me what you think. Do y'all think that this tree is worthy of trimming? Could you imagine bringing the man lift over here and trimming this tree? How much work that would be? I just don't. I don't think that I would do it, even if. Well, I know they're not willing to pay. This is to me, this is a prime example of a tree that would cost more to trim than to remove. It would. It would. But she's soaking on the $500 I told her to get this limb down. See, the bobcat, I mean, I could do it really cheap if I wanted to, but I don't want to. The bobcat could actually come right in here, y'all. It could actually go right there and grab that and pull it off backwards this way, right? And then I could reposition the bobcat where the front is facing this way, grab it with the grapple and go straight back to the woods, drag the whole damn thing. The whole freaking thing. I could do it. I guarantee you I could get that limb right there off, up, and in the woods, cleaned up, everything in an hour and a half. at the most, hour and a half. And if I had a guy on the ground, probably even quicker than that. I could do this by myself. You know. Yeah. You get it off, you get it off there, get it on the ground, nudge it this way a little bit to where the track machine can just grab it for the grapple and back up. And if you could do that, then you're gold. Of course, there's gonna be some stuff that's broke off, it's gonna come off, but we cut the grass every 2 weeks. So the only reason I would need help over here is to pick up the debris, the little stuff, you know, not all the little stuff, but the stuff as I drag it, it's gonna come off. And then once you get it to the woods, dude, I can just raise hell up in the woods on the ground. See, here you can't really raise no hell. So yeah, man, y'all kind of see, but I put a bid in on it, and I told her, I pretty much told her that I don't think the tree is worthy of saving, because I don't know what kind of damage or rot issues you're gonna have.
Clutch and PTO switch on there. But the thing is, that clutch was close to about $600, but I got it down to about $500, the best I could do personally.
Right. So is he gonna are you guys gonna be able to work with me any on the other the $450 that I spent to fix the surging and it didn't fix it? I spent like $455 and it's supposed to be fixed, and it wasn't. So it, you know, I don't expect to get all that, but I would, you know, I would think that some of it would be fair. Because see, I brought it in for the surging, right? And he fixed, he did a bunch of stuff to it, and it's $400 and something, but it didn't fix the surging. Now, I mentioned to Troy about it, and he told me when it come time to pay for everything that he would, you know, we would figure something out. You know, I'm a fair dude, man. You know, I ain't trying to be a dick or nothing.
Let me get up there and get with him, and I will call you back and let you know what we find out.
Okay. So is the mower ready though? So that's
the mower's ready. We just got to figure out this whole paying issue deal.
What is? Okay, but the mower's ready. It's surging has stopped.
He says it is, yes, sir.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good one, Richard. He says it is.
He said, I haven't personally run it, so I can't say yay or nay.
And I can we can figure out, you know, I mean, I got to get the mower back, so whatever we'll do on the money, we'll do, you know, whatever, man. I ain't hardcore about nothing, but I just want to be fair. You know, yeah. I want everybody to be fair. I want y'all to make sure, I don't want y'all to work on nothing for free, but I don't want to pay for things that don't need to be fixed either. So, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, man. It's hot out here, dog. It's hot out here.
Tell me about it, yeah.
All right, man. Okay, so y'all heard that. So yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, another $1,000. I mean, to replace the TPO clutch is well, that's pretty expensive. I know that, and the starter. I mean, that's worth $1,000. But I want to try to work on this $455 that I spent 3 weeks ago. Peace out. Okay, you guys. So y'all heard the dealer. And what he's talking about. I really need to get that mower back in the fleet, but I don't know that I'll go get it today like I told him I would, because, well, I'm not really working over there nowhere this, you know, today. Not even close. The other $455, I'm gonna cry about that till I want to get some of that money back. Now, for sure, a clutch, a starter, and fixing the surgeon, that's worth $1,000 all day long. And I ain't saying that. But if I could get out of there, you know, they're gonna have to take a little hit, because I'm not gonna pay all that, man. Well, I mean, I guess I would have to, but you know, I need to get them down to 800 or so. That's where I think I need to be. I think that the $455, we'll see, it's the $455 that bothering me so much. And you know, I'm not crying about, you know, paying me for my fuel and energy and time to go back and forth to the dealer 2 or 3 times for the same problem. See, I'm not even crying about none of that, you know, but I can, you know, but again, we'll just, we're going to just kind of go with what we got going on here. But also I got to drop off those hydraulic lines. See, I got a list here of things that I got to do outside of just working. Just working, well, that's a given, you know. So see, it's about time to cut that one again. I mean, you know, it's just, there's so much to deal with out here, and when you're in business, and you got equipment and lawnmowers, and you know, and guys working for you, and customers, you know, and the minimal distractions, you know. I'm so glad I got wheel tires, and the little things like that, you know, make it where there's, you know, just imagine all this going on and we have a flat tire. See, we're gonna be cutting this one today, and the one up the street today. So we're gonna be all up around here. So I'm fixing to take these hydraulic lines into the hydraulic line dealer place here, and we're gonna get that going. So you gotta be multitasking out here for sure, y'all, for sure.
Thank you for calling Jack Peak.
I'm calling the dealer back now.
It'll be like later this afternoon or later this morning, I think.
Okay, what's the good news?
I got the ticket down from $1,000 to $500 at this time.
Dude, that's I'm good with that. That's fair. That's more than fair. As long as the surging is fixed. Now, if that surgeon ain't fixed, then it ain't worth nothing. I don't mind spending, hell, the clutch is $500. It is. Shit. The clutch for those machines are very expensive, man. And then the labor on the starter, man, that's some labor, you know. So I mean, you can't hardly buy a clutch for that machine for less than $500 if I went and bought one. So yeah, I can live with that, man. Okay, I think that's, I'm gonna put the skag on this. I'm gonna put it up here. I'm not gonna take a lot off. If I do, it's gonna make a mess. So, but the skag, this is the skag will cut this wonderful. I'm so irritated with all the stupid crap that I'm getting a freaking headache. Yeah. Headache. And that's the thing about employees. It's an emotional roller coaster. And that's what, and when it's good, it's really good. But when it's bad, it's more than bad. I just know that I'm in a jam this season, and if Buddy don't start doing things a little bit different, then I mean, he ain't gonna be out here, and that's gonna. I mean, I hope he understands that if he, you know, if Buddy loses his job out here, then he's gonna have a hard time paying rent, and then that's gonna affect his. He's having a hard time paying rent, making $500 a week. But what he keeps saying to me, well, really not $500, man. It's only $375 because I have to pay rent. The business still pays you $500, dude. Everybody has to pay rent. Everybody, across the board. Nothing really surprises me anymore. With, well, I mean, Anything bad, it doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is anything good. You know. But Zach got $120. So I hope he gets a phone. That's all I can say. And I really didn't want to do that, but I'm having to bend my rules, and so because of their mismanagement of money and jumping in the pool with your phone in your pocket and all of that. See, if Zach had been saving his money and doing the right things with his money, his phone getting wet or whatever would not be a big deal, because he would have money to fix it or buy another phone. See how it goes back to your money and your money spending issues? It always does. If you don't learn anything else from Ray Ray, learn that, because you ain't got to make a lot of money to live good. You don't. But you can't blow money and time, energy, and effort on stupid shit. See? And most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, that's why people are struggling. It is. Because they can't manage their money. And, you know, throughout their life. They've made good money, but you never knew that they made good money, because they never could manage their money and buy the things that they needed to buy. They make good money and they lose their house. I mean, how was that? You know? Not because of the money they made. That ain't it. Because of the way they spent the money that they made. Their habits, their spending habits, their vices. And nothing wrong with having vices. I'm not saying, you know, don't have a vice or two. But manage it. Don't let your vices run you. What the hell? Be in control of your destiny. Be in control of your finances. Be in control of your actions. And when you're not financially competent, somebody else is running you then. Somebody else is dictating to you then, because they got money and you don't. I come from a family that ain't never had money, y'all. We never had money coming up. My grandma didn't have money. My mom didn't have money. My aunt didn't have money. We never had money. But one thing I learned coming up, my mom or any of my family never makes the kind of money that I make out here. Never. They never have. I mean, it never happened. It wasn't because they were sorry. It wasn't because they you know, didn't work or anything. But my people, my mom, especially my mom and my aunt, they're the prime example of never making a lot of money, but always managing everything on the backside. And we never struggled for nothing my whole life. And they never they probably never made half the money that I make. That's a fact. I never would have known it though. And even now, I wouldn't know it. My aunt and mom don't call me when their cell phone gets turned off, because it don't get turned off, because they manage their finances in a way that I don't know. I mean, I gotta say, I don't know how they do it. You know? But they don't blow money. They don't. I was raised in that way. You know, I buy things, as you guys see me buy things, a drone, action cameras, this truck. These are things that my folks would never even think about buying, man. I mean, they would, I mean, never would have even thought about buying anything the equivalent of in their time, if they were my age. Never would have occurred to them to buy anything. They never had the money for anything like that. But they managed everything they had in such a way that I never had a problem. I never knew that we didn't have any money. I never knew that, you know, that we was, you know, under the poverty level. I never knew that. We always had a house, you know. Always. And maybe that's, you know, what I've learned from watching my grandma, my mom, and my aunt. My dad never was around, so those are the figures. My grandma raised 6 kids, worked her butt off, and never had nothing. But she raised 6 kids in a time where women didn't make anything like they do now. I mean, that's the truth. My grandma was never financially strapped, though, that I saw from my perspective. When I look back on things, I realize what a freaking master my grandma was with her money. Master of the game. Because she worked her butt off and she never struggled for nothing that I saw. She didn't have a nice big fancy house. She didn't have big fancy cars. She didn't. But she always had something to eat at the house. And she always gave me something for Christmas and my birthday. And she was very giving to me. I never would have known that she didn't have that she was probably made a third of what I make. And that's not a dig at her or anybody. That's just the truth. My mom and my aunt, my grandma's gone now, but my mom and my aunt, they see some of the things that I buy, and it beboozles them. Because it never occurred to them. I mean, and this is the thing that I've seen in my 52 years life experiences. And as I've grown up and evolved and have, you know, all these people that I've known in my life, and I can date it all the way back to my high school years. The ones that don't manage their money, they're the ones that struggle their whole life. And that can be, managing your money can be all the way to the drug addict or the alcoholic as well. Because if you're spending your money on dope and alcohol and not able to pay your bills, that means you ain't managing your money. That's what that means. You know, there's many of people out here, y'all, no lie, that never have anything, but they work harder than you and I put together. But they don't do right with their money. And so they always end up back at ground zero. They're not climbing the ladder. They get halfway up the ladder, and then they blow their money on something stupid, and then they fall down the ladder and start back up from scratch again. It's sad. At the end of the day, it is. It's sad. It's extremely sad. It's depressing. It would be very depressing if I were like some of the guys that's worked out here for me, when I see the money that they're making, and then I see that they don't have anything, you know. And I come from a poorer spot than most of the guys out here that have been out here working out here, or just as poor, you know. And I'm no better than they are. I never went to finance school. But I knew that I wanted to have nice things in life. And I knew that I was going to have to sacrifice to get those nice things, you know. I could go in here right now and I could book a cruise around the world probably. Spend $20,000. But I'm not. That's the sacrifice I'm talking about. I live a simple life. But with that being said, I never hurt for nothing, y'all. Not nothing. These guys that come out here and work, they could be just like me. They could be. But they can't manage their money. So they can never build anything. Never. Perpetual. Just a perpetually backwards. Alright, y'all know what it is, man. It's Sammy time Monday. See ya.